Hey guys, it is me, Tanya, founder of the TNG Designs Group Limited. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Now, in this particular video, we are going to be talking about, yes, obviously all about the idea of how to build a brand that demands attention. But more specifically, we're going to be talking about how to make your brand stand out. Because I'm sure you can agree, yes, there are many people in your industry who are doing something similar to you. So how do you make sure that you actually stand above them and show up in a way that's consistent to your brand as well as your standards and your beliefs? How do you make sure that you do that? Well, you tap into the key things that we're going to be focusing on in this particular video, number one. Number two, you also make sure that you tap into all the key things that you know about your VPV, your brand power of 3, and why it is that you do what you do. Because if you don't, well then it'll be the kind of difference between you showing up in a way that literally keeps hitting and hoping, throwing the world at this proverbial visual or digital world of a wall, and nothing really sticks, versus you actually talking to people or talking in a way, and especially online, talking in a way that people actually get what it is that you do, why it is that you do it, but more specifically, how it is that you can help them and why you are actually the right fit. They get all that because they understand that, you know what, they see themselves in you for specific reasons. And the key things that I'm about to share with you that you need to focus on will help you to understand what you need to be able to do in order to be able to understand how to build your brand that actually stands out. So, without further ado, folks, before you get stuck into this video, make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel, because as always, I share content just like this. And when you stick around to the very end, I also share additional things that will help you to make sure that you keep that momentum going. Because I'm not all about making sure that, yes, you learn from what I share with you on these videos. I'm all about making sure that you continue to take action, because that's where really all the results that you're looking for actually starts happening. So make sure you do that. And folks, let's just get stuck into this video. So, as I said to you, we're going to be talking about how to pretty much build a brand that demands attention. But more specifically, we're going to be talking about how to make sure that your brand stands out. Because, like I shared with you at the beginning of this video, yes, there are so many people out there who are doing something similar to you. So how do you make sure that you stand out even more so as that go-to expert, as that person who is also the right fit for you? Well, you do these things. You make sure that you focus on some key things, but first of all, you got to know what your VPV, aka your brand power of 3 is. Now, if you haven't seen my previous videos that talk about your VPV or your brand power of 3, they are the same in one. Your VPV essentially breaks down to your values, your purpose, and your vision. That's your core brand power of 3, because if you don't know them, well, like I shared with you again at the beginning of this video, there's a lot that's going to be super confusing for you, and you won't know exactly the words to be talking about when it comes to the specific people that you should be directing your information at. Versus you knowing them, you knowing exactly who you need to be addressing, why you should be addressing them, and who it is or how it is that you can really actually help them. So, know your VPV. And then focus on this first thing. So the first thing that you need to focus on is your people. I just talked about it, right? So focus on your people. And I'm talking about not every average old Joe. No, I'm talking about your people. Your people pool. If you've ever tapped into any of my resources, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about with regards to a people pool. It's essentially your audience. So understand who is your audience. You're not going to know exactly who they are unless you've addressed your VPV. So know exactly what your VPV is so you can address the right people. Now, I'm not talking about any average old Joe like I just shared, right? I'm talking about the key specific people that you know that you are here to help. Meaning, all those within your niche, all those that you know how to serve and are going to serve based on your product or your service that you're delivering. Those are your key people that you need to be focusing on, not those who are outside of that circle. Focus on those key people because that's where your message is going to be resonating the most. So focus on your people. And with that in mind, right? So you've got your people. Now you need to make sure that with your people in mind, you're also focusing on problem solving. Problem solving in the way that you know exactly what your person is feeling, what their emotions are, where they currently are, what their state is, where they need to be coming from to where they need to be going to. You know what that transition is, you know what that journey looks like, so help them to understand that. You do that by way of addressing their problem and solving it by using your answer to that issue. Now, for example, let's use beauticians, okay? So think about beauticians. Beauticians, typically, they are obviously there to help somebody to feel more confident in what it is that they're looking like, how they are presenting themselves, and equally also showing up, right? So in knowing that, the typical issues that people face when coming to a beautician are lacking confidence, are just wanting to make sure that they feel like some kind of a newness within their day and to relax. They're bettering their day. They're helping them to switch or transform, literally physically sometimes, so that they can get out the state that they were in to then move to somewhere else that they now feel more comfortable being in. So with that in mind, address those issues, address those problems, really hit the nail on the head as to what they are. You know your craft, you know what it is or how it is that you can help people. So understand, what is that problem that they're facing? Understand that problem. Then what's your solution to it? Solve that problem with what it is that you have and what it is that you do. And that's how you typically stand out, because there's a lot of service-based business owners out here, or sometimes I like to call them the SBBOs, right? Service-based business owners, or SBBOs, they are out here literally making sure that the whole world knows what it is that they do and how well they can do it. But they're forgetting the fact that, you know what, yes, you can do it well, but why can you do it well? Can you actually really help the person that you're saying that you're helping? What proof are you showing? What typical issues are you actually resonating with them on? And actually, what way are you actually trying to connect with them on to allow a level of commonality for them to understand that, yes, you know what? Yeah, I see how well you do things. And now this is why I see why you are the right fit. That's how you stand out. And that's the difference between what an average SBBO does versus what a specialist does. So now, the third thing that we want to make sure that you're focusing on. And this third thing, unfortunately, a lot of people fall flat on doing, and more so specifically because they get a little lost into how to make sure that they do this, or in a way that allows them to show up in a frequency that makes sense to them. And what I'm talking about is the idea of focusing on your consistency. Now, when you focus on your consistency, you focus on how you're actually showing up. What does that look like? And does that look like the same thing all the way through your content, or throughout however many loads of content you're sharing on whatever platforms you're sharing it on, whether it be in person, whether it be online or digital? How are you showing up, and are you consistently showing up? Now, I know I've done a few videos on this, right? The ways to go ahead and do that. Well, you be consistent with the type of message that you're sharing. You be consistent in the type of issues that you are addressing. And also you be consistent in the way that you are actually knowing that you can actually help people. That's how you show up with consistency. Now, when we talk about frequency, right? Sometimes people are actually being consistent with their inconsistencies, right? Funnily enough, that is a thing. But also, now consider the idea of, okay, yes, you are turning up, right? So if you are turning up, or showing up more specifically, how are you doing so, or how many times are you doing it? And if you are stuck as to how many times you can do it, well, pick a number that literally allows you to sit comfortably with it. It could be once a week, it could be once every other week. Whatever that may be, whatever that frequency is, be comfortable with it and continue to do it. Now, I'm going to hold my hands up here. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people thinking, who do actually know me, Tan, I haven't seen you around on certain platforms in a while at the time of me recording this particular video. And that's true, because I'm not always around on certain platforms, simply because I like to put focus on certain platforms at any given time. And sometimes my time just likes to be in the attention space of where it needs to be, right? Now, I'm very aware of all the automated systems that I could actually be using in order to be able to continue to show up on those platforms, but I'm not choosing to do that. But I'm still showing up, and I'm still using my level of consistency on how I show up. That's by way of my message. That's by way of the values that I consistently share. And also that's by way of me presenting you with issues, but also helping you to understand how to solve those issues. So how are you making sure that, number one, you are showing up for your people or focusing on your people? 2, also focusing on problem solving, but also 3, doing all those things consistently. Because again, if you're not addressing that consistency element, if you are not showing up in a way that again isn't congruent to all those key things that we've just talked about, well then your audience is going to feel that disconnect. They're not going to understand. They're not going to get it. And bottom line, folks, you want to be remembered for the right reasons. So be consistent in the way that you are showing up, how you are showing up, and the message that you're also delivering, and all the things that you can actually solve as well. So as you're building your brand that demands attention, and more specifically that also stands out, concentrate and focus on those key things. That's your people, that's your problem solving, and that's also your consistency, how you are showing up with that consistency. So it's not always about the numbers and how many times you're posting. It's also about the message that you are delivering. It's also about the way you're presenting yourself. So speak in a way that allows you to be remembered for the right reasons once again. And on that note, I'm going to leave it there, but I want you to make sure that you do this, and please go ahead and keep the momentum going with how you are showing up, with who you are focusing on, with the problems that you are actually solving, and also be seen to solve those problems. Don't just present the problems, which is what a lot of typical SBBOs do. They just showcase the problem and they don't help their viewer, their audience, to understand what the journey looks like to get to the solution. Problem, solution, what happens in the middle? Share that. The typical and the average SBBO won't do that. So that's another little side note for you. And on the note of doing that, right, consistently, how you continue to take action is where you're going to be getting the results. So with all those things in mind, here's what I want you to do now. I want you to go ahead and click on the link that's underneath this particular video. Now, it's the first link, by the way. When you click on that link, yes, you're going to be asked for a few details, but I need those details in order to be able to share with you my key principles all about branding that help you to continuously take action. So remember, I said to you at the very beginning of this video, I want to make sure that you're keeping that momentum going. It's not all about what you're just learning here on this particular video. No, there is more to it. And I want to make sure that you continuously level up with your brand, how it is that you're showing up, but doing all those things, especially all the key things that you need to be focusing on, in a way that's always going to be congruent to your standards and beliefs. My 6 key branding principles will allow you to understand how you keep that action going, as well as that momentum too, but more specifically, how you make sure that you show up with a VPV that relates to your people or your audience, that relates to all those problems that you've got to solve for them, and equally help them to understand what that journey looks like. And also that relates to the idea of what you need to be focusing on consistently. So go ahead, click on that first link that's in the description box below, and make sure you go ahead and fill in your details, and let me fire over to you all these 6 key principles that will allow you to continuously level up. So with that being said, I'm going to leave it there. And folks, I will see you on the other side.